Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're doing something a little different. We're not digging into some official study or government guideline. Nope. Instead, we're going to deconstruct a really fascinating and super specific personal nutrition system. It's all based on one person's real-world experience. So let's jump in and see what makes it tick. Okay, right out of the gate, the person behind this system is crystal clear about what this is and what it isn't. You see it right here. This is not medical advice. It's a personal perspective, a personal framework, and you know what? That disclaimer is absolutely crucial. It really sets the stage for everything we're about to look at.
So, keeping that in mind, our goal here isn't to tell you whether you should do this or not. Think of us more like detectives. We're just trying to understand the logic behind it. How do all the different rules and pieces fit together? What's the end game? That's what we're digging into.
So let's dive into this personal experiment. You know, at its core, you could almost call this a form of personal biohacking. The whole philosophy here, it's not about just counting calories. You know, calories in, calories out. That's not the main focus. Instead, it's all about trying to control the body's hormonal responses, especially insulin, by following a really structured lifestyle.
All right, so the whole thing is built on a few core principles. We're talking 3 to 4 main meals a day, and breakfast? Yeah, that's a big deal. It's never, ever skipped. Meal planning is also huge. It's pretty much essential. The idea is to plan out tomorrow's meals today, so you're not leaving things up to chance. And all of this really points back to that main idea. The focus is on controlling your hormones, not just counting calories. And importantly, the system still recommends you go talk to a qualified specialist. Okay, so the first major rule we're going to look at is all about timing. It's about when you eat. And this brings us to a concept that a lot of you have probably heard of, but it's used here in a very specific way.
Yeah, we're talking about intermittent fasting, specifically a type called time-restricted eating. The system uses a really simple 12-12 schedule. It just means you split your 24-hour day right down the middle, a 12-hour block for eating and a 12-hour block for fasting.
And the rule itself? It's just so simple. Basically, you eat all your meals inside a 12-hour window, and then you fast for the next 12 hours. So let's say your last meal ends at 7 p.m. That means no more food until 7 a.m. the next morning. And during that fast, just water and unsweetened tea. That's it, nothing else.
All right, so we've got the timing down. Now let's talk about the food itself. What actually goes on the plate? This is where things get really specific, with a very clear set of priorities for every single meal.
And check this out. The number one priority is right here in this quote. It's not about starting with carbs or fats or anything else. It's all about the protein. Protein is the main event, the foundation. You figure out your protein first, and then you build the rest of the meal around that. It's literally the organizing principle for the entire plate. And we're not talking about a vague, eat more protein idea. No, it's a very specific target, somewhere between 1.6 to 2.0 grams of protein for every kilogram of your optimal body weight per day. Then you take that total daily number and just divide it up among your main meals. Super systematic.
Okay, so after protein comes carbs. And carbs are handled in a really interesting way, what the source calls a pyramidal structure. Basically, you get more carbs in the morning, a little less in the afternoon, and by the evening meal, very few or maybe even none at all. It's like you're tapering down your carb intake as the day goes on.
Now, what you don't eat is just as important as what you do eat. And these without rules, they are serious. Rule 1, no juice, especially fresh squeezed, because it causes a big insulin response. Rule 2, no alcohol, with maybe a super rare exception. And Rule 3, absolutely no nibbling or snacking between your main meals. Every single one of these rules is there for a reason, to keep your blood sugar stable.
And this whole fruit rule is a perfect example of the thinking here. The source puts it so well. Fruits are good for the body to be crunched, not drunk. Why? It's all about the fiber. When you eat a whole piece of fruit, the fiber slows down how fast your body absorbs the sugar. But when you juice it, you strip out all that fiber. You're basically left with sugar water that hits your system like a freight train, causing a massive insulin spike. That's why it's considered very dangerous within the system.
And that no snacking rule, it is absolute. I mean, look at this quote. From today, you don't crunch on chips or a biscuit. It's a straight-up command. Now, what if you do get a craving for something sweet? Well, there's a loophole.
You're allowed to have it, but only immediately after you finish a main meal. That way, it's just part of that one meal, not a separate event that's going to mess with your blood sugar an hour or two later.
So you see, this is way more than just a diet plan. It's a whole lifestyle. The rules about food are designed to work hand in hand with rules about movement. Let's check out how activity gets baked into the whole system.
And this is a really key part of the lifestyle. After every single main meal, there's a mandatory 15 to 30 minutes of light physical activity. We're not talking about a hardcore workout here. It could just be a walk or some light chores around the house. The goal isn't really to burn off the calories you just ate. It's a tactical move to help manage your blood sugar after the meal. Plus, it's part of a generally very active lifestyle with lots of walking and daily workouts. And of course, hydration is always emphasized.
And this is where you see it all come together, right? The 12-hour eating window, the protein-first rule, the pyramid for carbs, no juice, no snacking, and that little walk after every meal. See how they all work together? Every single rule is pulling in the same direction, all for one big reason: to manage blood sugar and keep insulin levels stable.
But when you step back and look at this whole thing, with all these interlocking rules, it points to a big, unanswered question. A critical dependency, actually. And it's something the source material itself brings up. So here's the thing. The author makes it very clear that they don't count calories at all. And you have to ask, how is that possible? Well, it seems like that freedom from counting is only possible because of a fairly intense level of daily physical activity. We're talking daily workouts, an active commute. The overall energy output is just really, really high.
And that leaves us with this final, really important question. What happens if you take away that high level of activity? Could someone with a much more sedentary life, a desk job, still follow these rules and not count calories? How would they need to adapt all of this to maintain their energy balance? It's a huge question, and it really drives home the final point. This is a truly personal system designed for a specific person with a specific lifestyle.